It's 2:18 in the morning. Tomorrow is important. You know you need to sleep. But then, one small thought quietly appears. What if I made the wrong decision? Within seconds, your mind begins replaying conversations that are already over. You imagine problems that haven't happened. You create futures that don't even exist. Your heart beats a little faster. Sleep slips a little farther away. Nothing around you has changed. The room is still quiet. The only thing that changed was a single thought. We call this overthinking. Most people see it as a flaw. Something to fix. Something to silence. But what if overthinking isn't a mistake at all? What if it's actually one of the oldest survival abilities the human brain has ever developed? Because once you understand where overthinking came from, you may never see your own mind the same way again. Here's something strange. Most of the things you overthink never actually happen. Yet your brain keeps preparing for them anyway. Why? Because your brain treats uncertainty like a problem waiting to be solved. Researchers have found that the human brain is constantly making predictions about what might happen next. It doesn't like unanswered questions, unfinished conversations, or uncertain outcomes. So it fills in the blanks, sometimes with logic, but more often, with fear. That's why a simple seen message can become, "They're upset with me." A delayed email becomes, "I probably didn't get the job." One awkward moment becomes, "I'll never stop thinking about this." Not because your brain wants to make you suffer, but because it would rather imagine 10 possible dangers than miss the one that turns out to be real. And that raises an even bigger question. If our brains are built this way, when did it become useful? Imagine standing alone thousands of years ago as the sun disappears behind the trees. You hear something move in the darkness. It could be the wind. Or it could be a predator. Waiting for proof might mean waiting too long. So your brain does something remarkable. It imagines the worst before the worst can happen. From an evolutionary perspective, that strategy makes sense. The individuals who survived weren't always the strongest. Often, they were the ones who noticed possible danger first, even when they weren't completely sure it was there. Modern research in evolutionary psychology suggests that our minds are biased toward detecting potential threats, because the cost of ignoring real danger was often much greater than the cost of a false alarm. In other words, it's better to panic over a shadow than to ignore a lion. The problem is, your brain is still running the same survival software. But the world it was designed for no longer exists. For almost all of human history, your brain had one job: keep you alive. Back then, most threats were immediate. A predator hiding in the grass. A dangerous storm. An enemy from another tribe. Your brain evolved to scan the future before it arrived. It asked one simple question over and over again. What could go wrong? That question saved lives. But today's world is different. The predators are gone. The forests have become offices. The tribes have become social media. Yet your brain still asks the same question. What could go wrong? Only now, instead of imagining a predator, it imagines losing your job, embarrassing yourself in a meeting, sending the wrong message, being rejected, being left behind. The survival system never disappeared. It simply found new things to fear. Your environment changed in just a few thousand years. Your brain needed hundreds of thousands, and evolution hasn't had enough time to catch up. This is why overthinking feels so convincing. Your brain isn't trying to predict the future. It's trying to prevent regret. Neuroscientists have found that many of the same brain networks involved in remembering the past are also used to imagine the future. Every memory becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes a simulation. Every possibility becomes another scenario your brain wants to rehearse. From your brain's perspective, that's efficient. If it can prepare you before something happens, maybe it can protect you from making the same mistake twice. But in today's world, that strategy often backfires. There are too many possibilities, too many decisions, too many futures to simulate. And unlike our ancestors, most of the dangers we imagine are never matters of life or death. They're social, professional, emotional. So the simulation never really ends. Your brain keeps searching for certainty, even though certainty rarely exists. So, the next time you catch yourself overthinking, remember this. Your brain isn't broken. It isn't trying to make your life harder. And it certainly isn't trying to torture you. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. For hundreds of thousands of years, the humans who survived were often the ones who imagined danger before it arrived. That remarkable ability allowed us to build shelters before storms, prepare for harsh winters, avoid hidden predators, and plan for a future no other species could truly imagine. The same imagination that built civilizations also built anxiety. The same mind that helped us survive can sometimes struggle to simply be still. That's the price of having a brain that can see beyond the present moment. The challenge, then, isn't to eliminate overthinking. It's learning to recognize when your brain is solving a real problem, and when it's fighting shadows that exist only in your imagination. Because once you understand where overthinking came from, you stop seeing it as your enemy. You begin seeing it for what it really is, an ancient survival instinct, trying its best to protect you in a world it was never designed for. And perhaps, the goal was never to silence your thoughts. The goal was to understand them. Because the voice inside your head isn't just noise. It's an echo of millions of years of human evolution, still whispering how to survive, even in a world that has completely changed. If you enjoyed exploring the hidden stories behind human nature, subscribe to Human Echo for more videos about the ancient instincts that still shape our lives today. And until next time, keep listening to the echoes within us.